Did Manchester United just find their perfect manager in Michael Carrick? It took exactly 90 minutes for the mood at Old Trafford to shift from anxiety to genuine optimism. Michael Carrick didn't just beat Manchester City 2-0 on January 17th.
Right, left centre, finds a Boo in the area. O'Reilly looks to get the cross in. Dorgu, 2-0.
He dismantled the narrative that he was merely a placeholder.
These moments are rare and have been rare in this last 10 years, but it has to be. Michael Carrick has laid a foundation today for the next 4 months.
By trusting a tactical system honed during his time at Middlesbrough, he outmaneuvered Pep Guardiola in a way few expected.
I don't think he would have expected the level of sustained aggression and sustained compactness and sustained organisation of this Manchester United team. I don't think he would have expected, none of us would have done, that they would have been so well drilled defensively, but also I think in attack. They were so well drilled.
In this video, we're breaking down how Carrick's specific use of aggressive wide fullbacks and a fluid 4-2-3-1 brought the United way back to life, and whether this result proves he's ready for the permanent job. When the board announced Michael Carrick, plenty of eyebrows were raised. A large section of the fanbase worried this was just another nostalgic comfort blanket. They feared the club was looking backward to the glory days instead of moving forward.
So whether they have reacted to a public backlash or the perception of people criticising the fact this appointment hadn't worked previously and you're going back without any innovation.
But if you look at the data, this appointment appears far more calculated. Carrick isn't just a former captain coming home to wave at the crowd. He is a modern coach with a very specific plan.
But he clearly did a decent job at Middlesbrough. Clearly he's a sensible head, and it looks different.
To strictly understand what he wants to do at Manchester United, we have to look closely at what he actually built during his time at Middlesbrough. Before Carrick walked through the door, the mood on the pitch was heavy. Ruben Amorim left behind a squad.
No, guys, I just want to say that I came here to be the manager of Manchester United, not to be the coach. And every department, the scouting department, the sport director needs to do their job. I will do mine for 18 months and then we move on.
That looked confused and hesitant. His structure was incredibly rigid. Players felt stuck in their positions, and the creative spark was completely gone. The squad looked broken.
But some of the performances in the last month, if you look at the Everton game, losing to 10 men when, to be fair, Ruben Amorim kept 3 at the back against 1, whilst they were basically trying to chase a goal against 10 men Everton. The performance against West Ham, everyone's beating West Ham. Manchester United drew with West Ham at home, and to be fair, West Ham could have got more out of the game. Everyone's beating Wolves. Manchester United drew against Wolves. So if you look at some of the performances in the last month, they've really been shocking.
Carrick didn't try to fix every single problem in his first week. Instead, he installed the specific fluid system he perfected in the Championship. He didn't ask the players to learn something totally new to the world of football. He asked them to play the way he knows works.
And like I say, that was one of the very best performances I've seen from United for a long, long time. Honestly, a long, long time. And we've all been conditioned to think maybe it's not been possible.
This approach relies on a base 4-2-3-1 formation. On the team sheet, it looks like the most common setup in the Premier League. It looks standard, but that changes completely when the whistle blows. Carrick's system is defined by movement. When United have the ball, that back four basically disappears. It morphs into a 3-2-5 shape. This shift is crucial to his style. It allows the team to overload the attacking areas with 5 players while keeping the defensive structure with a solid base of 3.
I think the difference today was that United actually won a game they deserved to win. In the past, they've had big wins and they've been kind of clinging on, but today, from start to finish, Michael Carrick got his game plan right. United were on the front foot, attacking it, and it was like watching the old Man United of, being attack-minded and going for it, really. So you have to give credit to Michael Carrick for that tactic.
The biggest change happens with the ball at their feet. Under previous management, defenders often panicked and cleared their lines when pressure arrived. Carrick exploits a back-to-front emphasis. He encourages his defenders to pass the ball through the lines of the opposition. It takes nerve to play this way. You have to trust your technique, but this approach attracts the opponent and opens up massive space behind them. it turns defense into attack instantly. This flexibility allows the team to control the ball in deep areas. They hold possession in their own half, waiting for the right moment.
But for me, it was the defence that impressed me just as much as anything. City were reduced to just 0.47 xg. Haaland was hooked after only completing one pass in the final third, generating just 0.13 xg along the process, both shots which were blocked by United defenders.
This is a direct contrast to the slow, heavy build-up fans grew tired of watching. Now they control the tempo deep before exploding forward. They bait the press and then punish it. It turns safe possession into dangerous attacks very quickly. This wasn't a lucky guess, it was a copy-paste job of the tactical evolution that made his Middlesbrough side so dangerous. He took a struggling team in the second division and made them play like promotion contenders. He brought that exact template to Old Trafford. The theory is sound, and the structure makes sense on paper.
We saw this energy about this United side that just wasn't there, because as Oggy said, maybe they don't have the best players on the planet, but they have some good players, and when you give them good players with energy, belief and a bit of desire, drive and confidence, then you get better performances.
But a plan on a whiteboard, it's different from a match against the Premier League champions. Now that we understand the theory, let's see how he used this exact shape to take apart Pep Guardiola's City. Beating Manchester City is hard. Shutting them out while scoring 2 goals requires a tactical masterclass. Going into the game on January 17th, the expectations were low. Most pundits looked at United's recent struggles and expected them to sit deep and pray for a draw.
I said yesterday, if they go toe-to-toe, they're in trouble. Well, they went toe-to-toe and they completely outplayed.
This is the standard survival guide for struggling teams facing Pep Guardiola. His system usually destroys anyone who tries to play open football against him. His teams keep the ball, move you around, and wait for a mistake. If you try to attack them, you usually leave gaps that they punish instantly. Carrick flipped the script by using his fullbacks in a way that completely confused City's marking scheme. He didn't use a standard defensive line. He instructed one fullback to push incredibly high up the pitch, playing almost like a winger. At the same time, the other fullback tucked inside to form a back three with the central defenders. This created an overload on one side of the pitch while keeping the defense secure against counters. It was a complex move that City did not seem prepared for. This aggressive positioning forced City's defenders to widen their shape to cover the threat on the flank. They had to stretch their line, which is something they hate doing.
I think City were surprised. I don't think I think they expected Manchester United to come out. I think what Pep Guardiola would have said to them is, look, they're going to come out potentially and be hard and come out the blocks fast, and it might be a little bit gung-ho for 20 minutes, but when it dies down, you'll play through them. I don't think he would have expected the level of sustained aggression.
Because City had to cover the wide areas, massive gaps opened up in the middle of the pitch. This was the deciding factor. United neutralized City's famous press by avoiding slow, sideways passes. Instead, they used quick vertical passes straight through those open central channels. They played the ball forward, fast. By hitting these vertical passes, they bypassed City's midfield line entirely. It took nerve to play the ball into traffic, but because the City defense was stretched so wide, the space was there. The pressing triggers were also different. United didn't chase the ball all over the field, they were patient. They only pressed when the ball went to specific City defenders near the sidelines. This trapped the City players against the touchline. With no easy passing angle and a United player closing them down, they were forced to make mistakes. It stopped City from finding their usual rhythm and forced them to play long balls, which United easily defended. Carrick didn't just park the bus, he used aggressive wide play to break City's structure and secure a 2-0 victory. It was a brave plan that required total commitment from the squad. The result proved that Carrick can outthink the best in the business, but a system is only as good as the players running it, and 2 stars have benefited more than anyone else. For months, especially during Bruno's absence, the midfield at Old Trafford looked disjointed and slow. It felt like the engine of the team was struggling. Passes were often a second late, and the spacing between the players was a mess. That changed overnight. Kobbie Mainoo and Bruno Fernandes were struggling to find space under their previous tactical regime. They looked isolated. When Mainoo received the ball, he was often surrounded, with his teammates standing too far away to help. When Bruno tried to make something happen, he was forced to do it from his own defensive third. It was a waste of their technical ability.
But Bruno was a little bit like Cantona-esque today in the way in which he played, and that's where he's got to play. Be near to goal, be where you can hurt teams, because he's a great player. We don't want to see him back in the midfield too, in front of a back three. Is that where we want to see Bruno Fernandes?
Critics argued that these two players couldn't play together effectively in a high-intensity system. They said the pair lacked the physical presence to dominate a Premier League game. They claimed the midfield was too lightweight and easy to bypass. But Carrick's new structure proves that the issue wasn't the players, it was the setup. He gave Mainoo a specific role that hides his weaknesses and highlights his ball-carrying ability. Before, Mainoo was asked to patrol massive areas of open grass alone. It was an impossible job that left him exposed. By keeping the central area compact, Mainoo has shorter distances to cover. He can set up to intercept the ball without leaving the defense wide open. Crucially, he now has teammates close by for quick passing combinations, allowing him to play his way out of trouble. Bruno Fernandes has been released from defensive dog work to operate as a true 10 and tactical conductor. We used to see the captain sprinting 60 yards back to make a tackle near his own corner flag. It showed commitment, but it destroyed his attacking output. We heavily touched on this topic in our Bruno Fernandes video. The new system allows Bruno to float between the lines. He occupies the pockets of space that confuse opposition defenders. He links the midfield to the attack without worrying about leaving gaps behind him. He trusts the shape behind him. He knows that he has cover. This allows him to take the creative risks that lead to goals without the fear of a counterattack. This shift has restored the United Way feeling at the Theatre of Dreams. It's replacing fear with the arrogance and creativity fans have missed. The players look like they're enjoying having the ball again. They aren't treating possession like a heavy burden. The 2-0 victory proved that Carrick's midfield profile elevates the team's best talents rather than restricting them. It shows that a smart tactical adjustment can be worth more than a massive transfer budget. The mood has shifted from anxiety to optimism. The fans are no longer dreading the next game. They're looking forward to it. The result raises the question of what happens next. If Carrick can fix the engine room this quickly, the ceiling for this season might be much higher than anyone thought. Michael Carrick has proven he's more than a temporary fix to steer the ship. He offers a clear tactical identity that works. The question now falls on the board. They must decide if they'll trust this evolution or chase another big-name manager in the summer.
If we build something here in these next 17 games, what would be the point of bringing someone else in to build off what he's built?
Would you give it with Roy?
I'll give him what he wants. Signed a contract.
Maybe it's to do with the blend of the coaching staff.
No, listen, again, we give credit where it's due. Absolutely fantastic.
History suggests they often prefer a star appointment, but the evidence on the pitch tells a different story. One result does not win a Premier League title, but this victory might have just saved the soul of the club for the rest of the season. The future at Old Trafford is finally interesting.